Howdy, friend. Sam Houston here, hoping you're living in high cotton. And if you're lucky enough to be in Texas, I know you're most of the way there. Now enjoy your daily dose of Texas history and Texas pride.
Howdy, friend. Welcome back to the Feed Bandit podcast and your Texas History Roundup for September 20th. In 1835, Mexican General Martin Prefecto de Cos landed at Campano with 300 troops on or about this date. In meeting with James Power, a local impresario and friend, Cos said that he had orders to repress with a strong arm those who desire to live without subjugation to the laws. Power immediately sent word to the inland colonies that Cos intended to reinforce the garrisons at Refugio, Goliad, and San Antonio, and would ultimately arrive at San Felipe de Austin. In 1842, Mexican General Adrian Wall and his forces abandoned San Antonio and began their retreat to Mexico, with Texans in pursuit. This was 2 days after the Battle of Salado Creek. In 1851, Henry Skillman obtained a federal contract to carry mail between San Antonio and Santa Fe by way of El Paso. The first mail stage rolled west on November 3rd, and by December, passenger service was being offered. In 1854, he formed a partnership with George H. Giddings, a San Antonio merchant, and they continued to operate the line for the next 3 years despite losses to Indians. In 1857, Giddings became involved in a semi-monthly mail service from San Antonio to San Diego, the first transcontinental mail and passenger service. In 1865, legend is that on this day near Luckenbach, Jacob Broadbeck's airship rose 12 feet off the ground and traveled about 100 feet. Supposedly, his airship had a water propeller in case of a water landing and could reach speeds of up to 100 miles an hour. The date and location for this event are in doubt, as is whether his airship ever left the ground. It is certain, however, that Broadbeck survived the event since he died in 1910. In 1967, on this and the following day, Hurricane Beula, the third largest of the 20th century, struck near Port Isabel and Brownsville with winds of 140 miles an hour. It went northwest and then turned southwest before dying in Mexico. There were 18 deaths and 300,000 people evacuated. Beula damaged a large portion of the shrimp fleet, ruined citrus crops in the lower Rio Grande Valley, and spawned some 115 tornadoes across south-central Texas. Up to 30 inches of rain fell in some places. On September 28th, President Lyndon Johnson declared 24 counties in the South Texas to be a disaster area. And in 1980, Whole Foods opened on North Lamar Boulevard in Austin. Less than a year later, it lost its 400,000 inventory in a flood on Memorial Day, but with help from customers, neighbors, and staff, as well as creditors, vendors, and investors, it survived to become a national chain for green foodstuffs. All right, and that is your Texas History Roundup for September 20th. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening, and we will see you on the next one tomorrow. All right, you take care.
Well, there you have it. If you like our podcast, check us out at feedbandit.com. There you'll find awesome Texas First outdoors gear and apparel. Your purchase helps support the Bandits and keeps this podcast on the air, fighting for you and for Texas. Remember, preserve the tradition, protect the legacy. Until next time.